This is the Irish Rally Podcast, brought to you in association with Tech and Tools, your dedicated tools provider focusing on diagnostic test equipment and specialised tools. Visit techandtools.ie for more information, and SVS Productions. Hello and welcome along once again to the latest edition of the Irish Rally Podcast. Plenty to get through here on today's programme. First thing we want to say is over the past few weeks we've put out, I think, nine pieces of content, nine shows, bite size, full length and all that. The response has just been magnificent, and in particular in the last week, James Leckie, Caroline McGuinness and Donegal, just mind-blowing stuff, simply mind-blowing stuff. If you haven't checked out those three in particular, not to be picking out anything, but there's some really good stuff in the three of those, and Donna is just absolutely fascinating. We got a real flavour into his life. That, of course, was the first episode of The Whole Person Life Beyond the Stages, hosted by Tony Kelly for the Irish Rally Podcast. So check it out. That one's over on YouTube, Spotify and on Apple. Right, so we have a nice bit to get through, right? So we have Fivemiletown class winners. We have the Midlands Moto Stages Rally entry list. We'll go through the first 20 cars or so there. That is kicking off on Sunday. First round of the Triton Showers National Rally Championship. An international type entry for the first round of the National Championship. Just simply sublime. And of course, a lot going on in Donegal. Couple of press releases and statement to go through. We've heard a lot of rumblings, but we here on the Irish Rally Podcast are just sticking with the facts, and we've received a press release from Donegal Rally management team, but a statement has also been issued by the Donegal Motor Club this evening at the time of recording. So we will read out both of those very shortly, and we'll also hear from Daniel McKenna. He's been chatting to Tony Kelly. He's out in Longford this weekend. Tony also caught up with Daniel Barry, who was ripping it up over in France last weekend, alongside Larkin Moore, coming home 6th. And Larkin Moore's been quite busy, co-driving in the Middle East and then over to France to sit in with Daniel Barry. So we'll hear from those two, and we'll hear from Stephen O'Hanlon, who's had a magnificent run with Mark Donnelly, winning 2 rallies in the space of 6 days, Clarny Forestry and, of course, Fivemiletown. So we will go through the class winners of Fivemiletown, as you said, and we'll go through the entry in Midland Moto. But let's cut to what's happening in Donegal. So a press release was issued in the past couple of days from the Donegal Rally management team. The Irish Rally Podcast received this email, and so did a large cohort of people in media were informed. And we're just going to read this statement first. So it reads: the management team of the 2023 Donegal International Rally have announced a pause in their planning for the 2023 event. A new management structure for the rally was adopted by Donegal Motor Club members in January of this year, with the management team stating its work on the 16th of January. Since then, significant new support has been secured in the commercial sponsorships, logistics and marshals needed for the rally. On the 17th of January, the DMC club chairman forwarded the resignation letter of the outgoing clerk of the course to the management team, which letter informed that the rally manager had also stood down. Press release number 1 refers. I actually don't have press release number 1. But anyway, the press release, which is titled press release number 2, goes on to say, since then, the DMC club executive have failed to address the issue of the election of a clerk of the course for the 2023 Donegal Rally. The scheduled February club meeting at which this was expected to occur was cancelled without explanation, and there currently appear to be no plans to hold any to address the situation. The management team have tried to engage with the executive to call a club meeting, but without success. In the circumstances that such key positions remain empty 16 weeks before the 2023 rally, the team is unable to do its work as planned, and at a meeting this week has decided to pause its operation and to advise club members and other affected parties accordingly. The management plan and the team adopted by the club members will not operate at the 2023 Donegal International Rally. The team issues this release in the interest of transparency and for the proper notification of all affected parties. It extends its thanks to the many businesses, personnel and other contributors who came forward to pledge their help in making the Donegal Rally continue success. The team looks forward to the next meeting of Donegal Motor Club, if one occurs, to update the club on its work and plans, to outline and document the reason for this decision, and to address the unhelpful speculation generated in the past weeks. Regardless of which structure is in place, the team commends and looks forward to a successful Donegal International Rally in 2023 and will give such assistance as it can. We wish our fellow club members all the best with the election of a new clerk of the course and in the running of the 2023 Donegal International Rally. Ends management team, Donegal International Rally 2023. So last night then, which would have been Tuesday, the 28th of February, the Irish Rally Podcast did contact Donegal Motor Club via the contact form on their website. And just after 5 o'clock, a statement appeared on the Donegal International Rally Facebook page. And it reads as follows: in the interest of clarity and to dismiss some comments on social media about this year's Donegal International Rally, the committee of the Donegal Motor Club can confirm that the rally as a major event in the Northwest will proceed as planned on the 16th, 17th and 18th of June 2023. We as a committee would like to again thank all those who are stakeholders in our event, the sponsors, Garda Síochána, Donegal County Council, HSE ambulance providers, Motorsport Ireland, landowners and residents. We very much look forward to seeing you all in June. That is the statement on the Donegal International Rally Facebook page, which at the time of recording is about 2 hours old. Came out just after 5 o'clock or thereabouts. So aside from all that, we're not going to speculate. Those are the two press releases. There is no further official information available to us, and all I can say is, if there is, and this is the opinion of Kevin Regan of the Irish Rally Podcast, if there is any fallout or if there is any conflict going on, I really hope for the sake of the rally that something can be sorted and indeed the rally does go ahead. So by the statement, it sounds like it will, and we just don't want any fallouts, and we don't want to cause any controversy either. We're just reading out the two statements that are there. Those are the facts, and until we get more facts, that's all we can say. So that is the story in relation to Donegal. Okay, let's move to the Midland Motor Club Rally, of course, on Sunday, the Midland Motor Rally. First round of the Triton Showers National Rally Championship. And it's a whopper entry list, it has to be said. And at the time of recording, only one dropout in the top 20. Gary Jennings, I believe, who seeded 6th with Rory Kennedy, will not be rallying on Sunday. So the top 20, Josh Moffat, Sam Moffat, Matt Edwards and Dave Moynihan back together in Keith Lyons' Ford Fiesta. That will be an interesting one indeed. Callum Devine, Declan Boyle, Darren Gass, Stephen Wright. Nice to see Stephen Wright down as planned, I suppose. He did tell us that, but just to see how things will pan out from down there now. Daniel Cronin, Niall Maguire, Andrew Purcell, Paul Barrett, Daniel Barry, who we'll hear from later on in the show, Jason Mitchell, David Guest, Paul Rowley, back from the US to do this one, Brendan Comiskey, Garrett Sayers, and Aaron McHale. We'll actually give you a few more as well, because the modified list is every bit as tasty. So we'll continue on. Tim McNulty, Daniel McKenna, again, we'll hear from him a little bit later, David Bogie, Gary Kieran, Mark Alcorn, Desi Keenan, Richard Moffat, Kevin Gallagher, Chris Armstrong, Jason McSweeney, and I'm pulling the handbrake there, but there is other names like Eugene Donnelly, Gary McPhillips, and that's just two more further down the entry list. So just outrageous stuff altogether. So let's go to Fivemiletown. We'll run through the top 10. 10th was Paul Britton, 9th Stephen Dixon, 8th Derek Mackerel, 7th David Condell. And I just want to give a special mention to David Condell. Yes, okay, there's a slight bias here because we know him quite well, but to see Mick Cody back in co-driving again was fantastic, particularly beside David. Mick, a great character and a great friend of the Irish Rally Podcast, and fantastic to see them back and in an R5 and put in some pretty good times as well, it has to be said. Ryan Caldwell on a great run, 6th. Niall McCullough, 5th. Conor McCord, 4th. Vivian Hamill, 3rd. Garrett Mimna, 2nd. And just about pipping it, Mark Donnelly and Stephen O'Hanlon. And we hear from Stephen O'Hanlon a little bit later on in the programme. So we're going to scoot down to the class winners. Class 1 going to Marty McCormick and Barney Mitchell. What a fabulous escort, has to be said. Finda McGrady, 2nd. McGrady, a great name. Of course, we are familiar with that as sponsorship of the NI Forest Challenge and the NI Championship as well. Class 2, that went to Drew Chambers, Jack Harris 2nd in that. Class 3, Ryan McCanney. Class 4, Rory Maguire. Class 5, Brian Dunlop. Class 6, Shane McGurr. Class 7, Alan Smith. Class 8, Derek Mackerel. Class 9, Damien O'Hagan. Class 10, Mark Donnelly and Stephen O'Hanlon. And yeah, that is the scale. So that's where we leave it for now. We're going to hear from the aforementioned Stephen O'Hanlon. Then we'll hear from Daniel Barry and also hear from Daniel McKenna. 3 really, really good interviews, I have to say. Tony Kelly done untold work for the Irish Rally podcast. So we'll hear from Stephen first.
So we have Stephen O'Hanlon here. Welcome to the show, Stephen. Thanks for coming on with us today.
Yeah, cheers, Tony. Yeah, great to be on.
It's been a mad couple of weeks for you, but my goodness, 6 days, 2 wins. What an achievement!
Yeah, it's certainly a start to the year that you dream of. It's definitely, we didn't really think we weren't sure about how we were going to be, but obviously then just when it starts, it's fantastic to keep it going. You know, it's something that you can't always hope, but when it starts to come in, it's a fantastic feeling, you know, to keep it going. You know, so it's starting to pay off.
Exactly, and I mean, you know, trying to get 2 rallies done within the space of a week is hectic at the best of times, but actually winning 2 rallies within the space of a week, I mean, the last couple of stages there at the weekend must have been phenomenal for you.
Yeah.
Stressful, no doubt.
Stressful. Like the normal preparation we would do for a rally would be sort of kind of 2-3 weeks out at least. You'd start, you know, you'd be even just prepping yourself in order for it. You know, confirming, you know, hotels and digs and logistics and working at the car and ideally getting a pre-event test, etc., etc. But with previous to Killarney, Mark's wife was heavily pregnant, I suppose, and their addition to the family arrived a little bit earlier than expected. So there was there's an unknown there whether, you know, it's gonna, you know, we didn't know if we were going to get to Killarney.
Yeah.
With all the will in the world, we wanted to be there, and as I say, thankfully, and Ashley and everything went well. The wee man was born, and you know, she's Mark's number 1 supporter, so she was keen and blessed him to go on to do the event. And I suppose that was the Thursday, so it was a case then all hands to deck on Friday to try and get down there on Saturday to rally on Sunday. So Killarney kind of, whilst we knew it was happening, it did kind of come with a bang in the last. It sort of kind of all fell together very, very quickly to the end. And we'd done a lot of work I'm saying 3 weeks out for preparation. We were preparing from last year. We've been preparing, I suppose, after the bushwhacker and that, something clicked. We knew Mark's a great fella at studying and analysing his driving, and he's not say critical of himself, but he knows, you know, I know I can do that better. I know this needs to be done, and we'll make changes, and we'll have a conversation and we try stuff. Adam Platt, who runs the KRA part, fantastic fella. Like he was the same, you know, when he's fit to take the conversations we would have and turn it into adjustments and changes and stuff in the car. So the preparation was happening, I suppose, in September, but it did all kind of feel like the last sort of 2 or 3 days before Killarney, it was a bang. It was an instant bang, right? Okay, right, we're going. I suppose in Killarney, then to get through Killarney and to get the win in Killarney was special. It was nice to win. It's class to win anyway. There's been a bit of a almost cloud over you before you get that. When we knew we could win, we knew we were quick enough, but just trying to get everything to go together and click was tricky. It takes a lot. There's a massive team, as you know yourself, as everybody in rallying knows. So to get that all to click together was important, and it did, and it clicked in Killarney, and it come good, and it worked, and we ended up coming away with the win, which then led us into Fivemiletown. So last week, I said Kevin was trying to get chatting to me last week, and it was every intention in the world trying to get talking to him, and it just we just run out of hours. We run out of hours. We're trying to get changing from a southern event to a northern event. We can run a larger restrictor in the north, and we run the 34 mil. So it was that had to happen to the car, and notes had to be got, DVD start, all that malarkey. So just simply run out of time, you know. But it was frantic for everybody. Like I say, Adam and the guys, my God, the work they done.
Everybody involved. I can't take a break. Like it's
no,
it's
and that's just our team. That's not even like that's not counting motor clubs and marshals and timekeepers and all them wonderful people, that unsung heroes of the sport. Like
exactly,
the event organisers, work they go through. So our side's quite easy in a way, that side. But so yeah, but it's been a busy couple of weeks, but really enjoyable, So.
And I mean, how does it? I would imagine if I won a rally, I would be like, I would want to celebrate it for a month probably. Like, how do you balance the celebrations and the excitement of one thing, but then kind of having to leave it where it is because you've got something else to do now the next week that has to be focused on and given your all again?
We're going to do a big one at the end of the year. I think that's
put them all together and celebrate one.
Times have changed after the rally. Neither myself and Mark were just absolutely shattered. We had in Killarney we had a 5-hour drive back up the road, which was not. It was fantastically pleasant to drive, to have wind, you're buzzing, but you're also stinking of sticky champagne for 5 hours up the road, praying that you don't get a guard at checkpoint somewhere along the line, and the rest of you for proposing drinking driving because the front of the Jeep.
As soon as the window.
A brewery, So, you literally had a champagne shower 10 minutes before getting into the Jeep. But I suppose that leaves you. Yeah, we get up the road on the Friday or the Sunday night. Sorry, from Killarney. It's nice. The text messages start to come through. The Facebook, the social media pages are starting to go off a wee bit. And it's lovely. There's a lot of rallying is a fantastic community of people, and they really do support you. Competitors and that were texting you up the road and well done, fair play, and great run, and all this sort of stuff. We get you next day. Exactly. The banter and the slagging goes on.
Never stops.
So no, it never stops. So yeah, that and then I suppose. We had to sort of kind of settle down into Fivemiletown. We'd heard coming up the road on the Sunday that I suppose the winner of Killarney would have been running first on the road in Fivemiletown. There's a lot of added pressure, I suppose, to first on the road. Certainly as a navigator, I would feel it. And Mark, I suppose, as a driver, everybody has their own wee. You're in a normal service park, you're there's car number 1 way, right? We've got 5 minutes, we've got 3 minutes, we've got 8 minutes. Let's get started. Whereas in Fivemiletown, that's us.
You're ahead of the pack.
You are the noise, you're the start.
Yeah.
So and it's something I've been doing a long time, and thankfully I'm okay at it to the point where I'm fit to still win a rally, but. You still be nervous. You still be thinking, God, I hope I make a mistake here. I'm first car in the road here. What if I get lost in the road section? This is 5Miletown. I would know the roads around 5Miletown fairly well. This is our local rally, but you still, in the back of your head, you're still, micro-analysing every decision you make. We've a trip in our car, and I'd say most rallies I would never use a trip. Never use it. Don't need it. You know what I mean? But in 5Miletown, I was using it.
Use it.
On a rally, probably. But silly things like that, I suppose, are adding to it. But you're not panicking, you're aware that you're first in the road, you're aware that it's something that we've never done before. We were aware of road cleaning. We knew, even before Killarney, we had an idea of where some of the stages were. Obviously, Fivemiletown, it's our local rally to us here. It's one of the ones we've done before. But we knew the likes of Brownhill, and that wasn't running years, and we knew it was going to be just two tracks up through grass, so we knew it was going to be treacherous, slippy and all that. But thankfully it stayed very slippy for everybody, so it didn't,
because it can be very difficult to be the sweeper essentially and run first on the road.
Oh, 100%. Don't get me wrong, I got plenty of was getting plenty of stick and crack from different people. Paddy O'Brien's giving me bad manners about you should win from anyone on the road, and he was right. He's dead right, and he's done it, and he's proven it, and they can say it. So it's like, right, we'll say no on here.
Aye.
But yeah, it was good. It was interesting, but you had added stuff going on in your head for your first of the road. So our notes, we spent a lot of time on our notes over the weekend and making them and trying to get them right, and adjusting and changing, and so busy week that way. And then again trying a small test. Again, it's a different car and a 34mm restrictor versus the 32. So it did add the car. You do need the car in. Again, Adam and them boys, the work they do is second to none. They can produce a fantastic car. So it took a bit of everybody, to make it happen.
A very busy week all around. And I mean, you mentioned it being your local event. Did that add any pressure as well? Because I mean, that's obviously tough. Like when you know that people locally know what you're at, it can mentally just cause a wee bit more pressure than normal. It's
a good crack. My sister's father-in-law, Hugh O'Brien, the flying vet, local hero, like a renowned rally driver in his era, and a Mark II Escort BDA and that. And people like him texting you after congratulating you for winning it and stuff was special. You know what I mean? His statement was, he says, "Great to get the win. The country's full of bridesmaids." And that was I laughed at that because it was true. We've been second in this rally before now, and it's hard to win the rally. Anybody that's won a rally, it doesn't matter who you are, what rally it is, it's hard to win a rally. It's not
absolutely.
There can be people missing, surely there can be people crash out, there can be this, there can be that. You still have to be there, and you still have to finish it, you still have to drive it hard, and you still have to beat everybody that's there. And that's not something that's easy. It's not something easy done. And I think anybody, and the text messages you get are from previous winners and stuff, from saying she's well done and congratulations, and
and it's those kinds of texts, when you read that type of thing, from people like that you admire, that's the moment when it clicks and you go, geez, I've actually done this. This has happened.
We won the Bushwhacker in 2016, and it's still one of the biggest, proudest moments of my life. And the part of that is seeing your name on a trophy. It doesn't matter who wins it now. It doesn't matter which house it's in. I see it in another house. I was trying to go in and go, look, show me. There I am.
Exactly.
That's still
exactly.
The local event, the local side of it, Oma Motor Club would be our local motor club, and they run both the 5Miletown and the Bushwhacker. So the two events are they're fantastic events. As I said, I touched on it before about the motor clubs and about the marshals and the organising teams. Like them guys are unsung heroes. Winning a rally is a team effort, and it's right from the crew in the car, your mechanics, right through to the guys setting up the stage, the taping gangs that are out in the morning times, the guys the weekend before setting out, all the months previous to this. Them guys are they're the true heroes rally, and you know what I mean. So without them, we're not there. So again, thank you to all of them.
100%. Like, and I mean, as you say, like it's from all hours of the morning before the event starts. It's happening for weeks and months before the event starts. Like, and I'm sure that it all makes that it's all worth it for all the organisers and all the marshals and everybody involved when an event goes really well. And there is such a tight battle like there was at the weekend, and it is a local team then that wins it. Like, it's a win all around. Like,
I would always try to be as pleasant as I can to marshals and timekeepers and stuff like that, to thank them, because I appreciate what they're doing. And as I say, you get into an event at the weekend when you're battling 0.1 of a second getting into the last stage. We were trying to comprehend what is 0.1. I heard actually Stephen Wright was talking about it previously last week. He won as the first round Kirkeston by 0.1 of a second. And I remember him saying about trying to stop his phone at 0.1 of a second, and I was listening to the podcast going, yeah, that's right. Imagine that's
your thumb can't move that quick. Like
7 days, this is a tick of a finger. 7 days later, whatever. We're sitting, and we've got Vivian Hamill hounding down her, breathing down your neck, 0.1 of a second into the last stage. Through the event, the largest gap we had was 4.5 seconds to Conor McCourt. So I was laughing. It was we had Niall McCullough chasing us after the first one, we had Conor McCourt after the second, with Johnny Leonard chased us after the third, with Viv after the fourth, with Eamon Mimmy after this, or Niall, or Gareth Mimmy, sorry, after the fifth, and then Viv, you know, to the last two.
Insane stuff, like
it was crazy. It was class. Like when I look, you know,
it's what keeps you going. Like
it keeps you going. We had our troubles. We had a spin and we had a puncher as well. We had a spin on stage 3 and a stall. And there's a piece of the road that funny I've been warned about. I know it caught Paddy O'Brien out one year. He exactly the same thing happened. He was out running early in the road and he came down on loose and he ended up, but he literally went a metre more than us and he got half beached, and it took him 20 seconds to get out and had lost his rally. And it, you know, we knew about it and it still happened. You know, but we didn't go down the back, you know, but we did lose the 7. We did make it hard for ourselves, you know. But
and that's it. Like sometimes when you're pushing, there's just, you can know things, but you know, you're pushing, so there's just no room for error.
On our last stage, we went in on our last stage and we're like, that's it. That's it. That's what we
put a lot into it. Just go.
You know, we had a moment on the last stage. Let's just say it was very, very nearly to be all over, but we got away with luck. We had a bit of luck as well on our side that time, and it came out good this time. I'd be very disappointed to have lost it by 0.1, put it like that.
Exactly. That's a tough. And it's, you know, you mentioned bridesmaids earlier, like, and I mean, there's always got to be someone. There's always got to be a runner, and that is a tough place to be. Like, but particularly with that type of timing and seconds,
that really,
point tenths a second, you know,
tenths of a second, is. It's
madness.
But it shows you the level of skill that's out there. It shows you that the cars are very equally matched, the tyres are very equally matched. You know, there's nothing in it. It's the mechanics.
Yeah.
You know, setups are very similar. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. There's not much in it. You know, it's just literally down to.
That's it. Like it is. It's a testament to the driver, co-driver, full team, the whole thing behind it. Like, you know, even simple things like tyre choice. Making sure that you're checking the tires before you head into the stage. It's all tiny stuff like that kind of gives you confidence or pulls it back. Yeah. And do you think, you know, when you think about the whole thing now and you kind of have a bit of room to breathe this week, do you think, you know, with all of the stress and kind of worry before Killarney and heading in and sort of we're not going, we can't go, jeepers, we have to go now. Do you think you know, you mentioned that winning streak that kind of started with Killarney. Do you think it's just one of those things where as a team it was like, right, well, the only way I'm leaving, you know, my 1 or 2 day old child this week is to head away and win this thing? You know, do you think that gave you as a team a big drive to just come away? There is
a sense of purpose where you have to have belief in yourself. We believe that we are fast enough to win rallies. Thankfully, we did believe that even last year. We believed, we knew, in fact, last year we were fast enough to win rallies. It was always some wee thing just happened. Yeah. We had a couple of knockbacks in the middle of the year, with an accident in the middle of the year, and with a few wee things just didn't go our way, and personal issues and stuff. But we knew it was there. We knew the talent was there. We knew we had the car. We knew we had the tires. We knew we could do it. And I believe everybody certainly in the top 10 of that rally believes that they will win and can have won rallies. It's not even that they can. But you have to have a level of belief that you can do it, because there's no point in going if you didn't.
Absolutely.
Albeit this, like we spoke off air about, there's no Malcolm Wilson's not ringing any of us tomorrow, or you know what I mean, to say come on, here's a job for you. You know what I mean? Yeah. This is a sport, and it's a blow off, and it's a way of blowing off steam. It's a stress relief, you know, or therapy. But to reward ourselves coming back up the road, it was easier, shall we say, to drive back up the road, having known you've been away 2 days with a first overall trophy, you know, and a lead in the championship. It was worth it, essentially. Yeah. You know, all the fighting and stress and the time. And that's it. And I mean, that we were talking about that off air, like of
the commitment and the time commitment that rallying takes as a sport in general. Even like, it doesn't matter if you're preparing to do the rally as a driver, co-driver, team. It doesn't matter whether you're like a marshal or, you know, safety officer. You've so much time to put into the sport, and as you say, like, you know, it's just to come away from it, then have that 5-hour drive up the road where you celebrate yourselves and your win and your achievements, but also the next one's
our drive up the road from Killarney was talking about Fivemiletown.
Yeah, exactly, because it's leave the last one there, and now we're going on to the next.
And to be honest with you, Saturday evening we went home early. I got pizza with the wife and child, and Mark went home for dinner with his kids and wife, and we had a conversation Sunday, and I saw him out with Malcolm Wilson now in 2 weeks. So, I mean, so we're ready to start. You know, it's just the next event.
Yeah, that's it. And I mean, that's another beautiful aspect of local rallying, is being able to go home to your own family, your own home, and do something at the end of the day that kind of, because rallying's a beautiful sport and it's so important to anybody that's involved, but also there are other things that matter in life. So to be able to go home to the family and sit down and your family's a massive part of it. You know, we're you know, bugging off for a long weekend, you know, once a month, once every sooner than that, more often sometimes. Twice a week.
And we don't say it out too loud, but yeah, we'd be bugging off, and you know, we are relying very much on your family and your and it could be work colleagues, it can be, you know, as your wife, kids, you know, you have to leave all, and you're relying on your bigger family, your bigger circle to help support you and help carry you through it. And they are, thankfully, we're very lucky that we have support from them, you know.
They do it, they're the ones that are kind of there to lift you up and pick you up and, you know, celebrate you whenever you're winning and stuff too. And Stephen, you mentioned, obviously you mentioned the difference between the Irish and the Northern Irish forestry, you know, with the restrictors and stuff. You've obviously done one of each now at this point. Is that the plan for the year, to head for the two and hopefully get the 2 titles at the end of 23?
No, well, not really. Championships never really come into the conversation, if that makes sense to you. Yes, it's an idea that, well, I'll give you an example. The Northern Ireland Forestry Championship don't count cars in class 11 and overall championship points, for example. So we're not leading the Northern Ireland Forestry Championship at the minute because we run the 34mm restrictor. We made a decision to do that at the start of the year because 2 of the last Southern Forestry rallies are run. So the Lakelands and the Bushwhacker are both part of the Southern Forestry Championship. And the Southern Forestry Championship at the minute is taking priority. If that, we will compete in the Northern events anyway. To try and win them. I'd rather try and win Fivemiletown than trying to score championship. You know what I mean? If that makes it. So the fact that the cars aren't eligible to score overall points, we weren't really aware of it, I suppose. But it's not that we weren't. Something, I'll be quite honest with you, something I missed. I didn't pick up, and it wasn't important enough at the time to. It wasn't going to change the outcome.
Yeah, exactly.
We were not going to. I am not going to the Bushwhacker in a 32mm restrictor.
Yes.
Story. Or Lakelands, you know. You know what I mean?
Winning the event outright is more important.
You know, it's overall positions we're going for. You know, by long. Our as the pace there to win the Bushwhacker yet, probably not yet. I still think the guys that the last year's Bushwhacker, Pace, Cahan, and Paddy O'Brien, and them, you know, Jason Mitchell and them guys they're on a serious pace. And don't get me wrong, again, it's a belief thing. I believe that we will get there. I don't think it's there yet, but we're certainly going the right way. You know, every single event. I don't want to say, I don't want to sound cocky enough, but it was very controlled. It was very measured. It was everything was just flowing. Especially in Killarney. Killarney was a game changer for us. We had picked a stage at the start of the previous event, and we would do this. We say, right, this is going to be our stage. You know, so that third stage, Killarney, we were like, no, look, this is a really good stage. This is the stage where we'd make a push on. You know, and we won Killarney on that stage. We did. That was the one where, you know, we were right with our fastest time. You know, took quite a good bit of time out of everybody else on it, and then it was just a case of maintaining that. You know, after the service in Killarney, it was ours to lose. we would have been. It would have been a silly mistake for us to lose Killarney after this half-time service with a 10-second lead or something. That if a 9.8 or 9.9, it was a good enough lead. 5Miletown, however, was a different story.
Yeah.
5Miletown was a gear change. It's a gear change. That's always in it. And I suppose at any given moment it could have went against you. But you had to maintain that, and it was great that tight battling that we done in 5Miletown. I hope will pay us dividends, because I remember watching the times for the Bushwhacker. Don't get me wrong, and say we were, and last year we were lucky, and we were kind of, I'll not say the best, the rest of that's not what I mean, but we had our own wee battle going on, myself, Conor McCourt and McCullough and Jordan Hone, that we were having our own wee battle.
Yeah.
And then there was a sort of wee distance, not much, but it was a bit then to the guys in the front, and then the likes of Paddy and Cahan McCourt were, they were 0.1 of a second. They were having the same kind of battle at a different pace again, So I'm hoping that the experience we have had in 5Miletown and the likes of these battling wins, where there's pressure on you to,
yes. Yeah.
We had Vivian Hamill breathing down her neck. Vivian Hamill is a very, very talented driver. And he's a very experienced driver, and he's a genuinely really good guy. And I'm actually gutted for him that in one way, because
as you say, you wouldn't have wanted to be coming down the road, or heading home with that 1 point.
The 0.1 of a second was, and then I suppose I'm delighted for him and Mimmy. Then Gareth Mimmy, sorry, I keep calling him young Mims, to come through and get his podium and get his finish. You know what I mean? He's another fellow who's going to be quite tricky, I think, throughout the year, So
I know, and it's you've heard it said a million times, and throughout different sports, but it's obviously as a competitor, you have your own job and making yourself better, but it's the people around you. It actually is your competition that is what pushes you to become better and quicker and faster, 100%. And just in every way. 5Miletown, as you say, it'll stand to you. And it doesn't matter who you're talking to. A lot of the time, I was actually watching the Formula One thing on Netflix last night, and I can't remember which one of the guys said it. But it was in relation to Max Verstappen, and it was, it's not nice to be hunted. That is not a nice place to be. And it does not make it easy. So going from that contrast then to 5Miletown and just not having a moment to take a break the entire day, it just makes you work hard.
The pressure that you, I was trying to explain it to one of my wee nephews. He was on the PlayStation. He was playing a bit of Colin McRae Rally and the likes, And I was saying, look, whenever you're racing the ghost car and you're doing the same stage over and over again, and 3/4 of a mile from the finish of the stage, and you start to see the ghost car pulling away, and you've lost it. That's what this was like. We were racing the ghost car, and every so often, you could just see it. We'd go wide in the corner, and subconsciously, you could almost see, Vivian Hamill's taillights.
Absolutely, things are flashing in your eyes. Exactly. It can only stand. I'd safely say we learned more as a team, certainly in the car in 5Miletown, than we did in Killarney. Amazing.
And I'm not taking away from Killarney. Killarney was a fantastic event. And we learned things in Killarney about maintaining a lead. We didn't have to.
Which again is another form of mental strength.
It's being mentally strong, but it's self-belief and just knowing, look, we don't need to go with 10 tenths here. We can come back a bit here, but we can't slack off, because if you slack off, you make a mistake, and we have to kind of just go. We set a boundary. We'll do exactly the same as what we've been doing, or we'll do this, or we'll do that. Yeah. Oh
my God, paid off, Stephen.
Paid off, thankfully.
Fair play to you. Well, come here, congratulations. I mean, an amazing 10 days there. Between babies and trophies and champagne, it's been fantastic. And at least now, I suppose you have a bit of time to prepare for the next one.
Well, sort of.
A bit
more certainly. So yeah.
Well, come here. I'm sure we'll be speaking to you throughout the season. But thanks a million. I mean, particularly for taking time out of your busy schedule for talking to us. We really appreciate it, Stephen. Thank you very much.
Thanks again. Thanks to the podcast. It's great to get it out there into into the public. So thank
That's
you.
brilliant, like, and it's the likes of yourselves, like, that make it, like, because it's not us they want to hear from, like, it's hearing your stories and just the real stories behind rallying, like, you know.
Yeah.
So thank you for your time and for talking
no
to us.
problem.
Daniel Barry, welcome home. You're just in the door from France. Welcome to the Irish Rally Podcast. Thanks for taking the time to speak to us.
Not at all. I'm delighted to be here. Yeah, really.
As I was saying, you're just back from France, and you had a great weekend. A great result, and a third fastest time, I believe. And was it the 9th stage?
Yeah, it was just the penultimate stage, second last stage. So, yeah, we had a bit of a push on. We were trying to catch the guy in 5th and possibly even 4th as well. So, we had a big push on that one, and same the next one, but it didn't go to plan.
Always the way with rallying, isn't it?
Yeah.
And in general, you know, the weekend itself or the event itself, like, were you happy enough with the outcome?
Yeah, absolutely delighted, because it's quite the stage has rarely changed there for this rally. So and nearly all the guys in the top 10 have done this rally multiple times. Like, some guys have done it 10 and 12 times. So like this, they're always going to be hard to compete with that. And there's some really good drivers in that area, and they do that rally all the time. So no, we were delighted. We were actually a bit pleasantly surprised. Like, there's a super special around the town on the Friday night, and we thought we were just going to get absolutely obliterated on that. So, but we gave it a good go, and I think we were only 3.5 seconds off the fastest time or something around that. So we kind of knew that we're not going to be a million miles away here.
No.
You know?
And as you say, like, I mean, these are guys, this is local to them, like, and like, you know, I know it's a tarmac event, but, like, obviously, you know, the European tarmac, the French tarmac, very, very different conditions to Irish stuff, like.
Yeah, it is. Oh, definitely is. So, but it's strange, because there's parts of France that are very similar to here,
Right.
especially up north and northwest. The roads are, you would think you're in Ireland in some parts, you know, it's strange. And then, you know, there's other parts of France that are just night and day, like, you know.
Yeah,
it's just
completely different.
Yeah, even the tarmac is completely different. But yeah, no, I just enjoyed it, the challenge of it all, you know, going somewhere different, and, you know, just, you know, you kind of make it up as you go along when you get there, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you've done an awful lot of competing overseas in the last couple of years, and you mentioned the challenge there, and, you know, the adventures of it whenever we spoke off air. Like, that has to be so exciting to get on a plane or to get on the boat and just head for somewhere brand new.
Yeah, I love it. I love the challenge of it, and I said it to you before, like, it takes so much, you know, organisation and movement schedules and all this kind of thing, but the reward, if it goes right for you, is just, it's, you know, it's second to none. It's brilliant, you know.
Yeah.
And but just take every one of them as an adventure, and like, I took it for granted when I was younger. You know, it was just, I'd done the rallies and didn't kind of, you know, take it all in. But nowadays, I'm the age I am, I just take it all in. I'm just very, very grateful to be there, you know.
Yeah, and you were saying years ago, you know, you used to be able to sort of hand over a lot of the organisation and the logistics and stuff, and nowadays you're sort of taking
There was a few more quid around back in the days.
Definitely back then, the good old days.
Someone else sort that, yeah.
But there's more of a hands-on approach to things now. Like, and I mean, does that sort of open your eyes a wee bit more as well? And again, just how much work and detail has to go into the likes of this event for you to get there and to compete, like. Yeah.
As I said to you, like, there's so much involved in it, with, you know, hotels, ferries, you know, hire cars, organised mechanics, engineers, you know, getting everybody around, getting everybody to and from the rally itself, shakedown, organising tyres, fuel. There's so much to it, but at the other side is I can control it then a lot better, and I can control the cost, which is, you know, obviously it's a massive factor, like, is cost, you know, and the less I can bring the money down at what it's going to cost me, the more of a chance I can go and do another 2 or 3 or another 2 in the 1 year, you know. So it's giving me the control back, like, you know.
Brilliant. And in terms of getting, you know, once you're actually on the ground and you're over there and you're all settled in your head and into the rally, then how do you get out of kind of team manager mode and into driver and focus on the stages?
Yeah, it's a little bit hard now, because I'm a bit of a control freak when it comes to that. So I have to oversee a lot of the stuff, but I have a great bunch of people around me, you know, like my family, all my family go. I have a couple of good mechanics that I always have around me. the team I work with in France called LAD, and there's some great guys there, as well as Patrick McDonald there from Roundwood as well. He's literally up the road from me, so he comes to the mall as well. And and I'm able to hand over the reins and then just kind of focus on the rally once I get there. And,
excellent.
Everyone kind of knows their job and their roles, and they kind of just go into that, and I don't have to do anything,
Exactly, like very, very much a rally protocol where you get to the event and everybody's job just clicks into place, and everybody
nobody really has to be told; they just know what to do, and it's great. Yeah.
And tell us, how then do you're obviously in France there just this last weekend, and yesterday you arrived back in Ireland, and now you're headed for Longford this weekend. Like, how do you go from one to the other?
Yeah, geez, I don't know. It's trying to get your head in gear for it again, because a lot of the times, for me, it's over the last couple of years, there's been massive gaps between the rallies. Like, it could be 6 months, 7 months before I was in rallies again. So this will be the first time, I'd say, in about 10 years that I've done a rally back to back.
Yes.
So it's just it's trying. You're coming down, and then you're going, oh geez, I better get myself G'd up here again.
Exactly.
But it'll be a lot less work going into getting ready for this one now.
A wee bit less travel.
Yeah, about an hour and a half up the road, so it's grand.
And I mean, obviously, like, one of the things that sort of, obviously, you're driving left-hand drive, so it won't affect things too much that way. But even simple things like doing the recce and going from left-hand drive to right-hand drive within the space of a week, does that? Yeah. I mean, do you just switch on and switch off certain parts of the brain, or are you finding that that might take a bit of work?
No, it's weird. I've been driving left-hand drive cars for quite a while. And it just clicks. Literally, you get off the boat, you go up to the first roundabout, and your brain just goes, "No, you're not going right here. You're going left," and that's it. Then it's just strange. It just your brain just takes over. I'm just used to it now, I think.
Yeah. And do you find it hard to recce like that? Going from, say, France last week to getting back into the other side of the road, and it's not so much like the side of the car, but the side of the road. Then to actually like number things and kind of distances, I suppose would be similar, but detail and corners.
No, because unless it's like a main road and stuff, when you can't really kind of cut in or whatever, like normally you'll have your position on the road and you know where you want to go anyway, or where you're going to point the car. So it's only really on the main road and stuff like that where there's traffic coming towards you that you kind of have to watch it out a bit,
I know, yeah.
The guys in France doing recce, like, some of them crawl around and some of them just be absolutely flat to the washers, like, and you're going, what's going on here, like, It's a bit different than here, like,
The difference, yeah. And so the stages at the weekend look fantastic, and obviously the lineup is phenomenal. You'll be looking forward to getting going.
Yeah, definitely great lineup. Yeah, there always is for the first round of the national, to be fair. But there's some great drivers there in Ireland at the moment, and some absolutely unreal cars. Like, you look at the lineup of cars, I think it's probably definitely up there the best in Europe, car wise and stuff.
100%. Yeah. I mean, that, like, the top 20 alone, I mean, the top 30 probably would be quite intense, to be fair, but I mean, the top 20, like, is just, I mean, the value of machinery that's there alone is insane stuff, like.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think Ireland has always been, like, up there with the best in Europe, and I think we've just gone, like, obviously the pandemic wasn't great, but since then I think we've gone from strength to strength,
Absolutely. And what's the plan for the weekend?
I don't really know. I think, there's a little part of me there that, saying, oh, look, you've done a rally the weekend, it should be fresh, and I'll give it a go. But it's hard. It's still going to be hard to compete with them guys. I don't want to take names, but the likes of Josh there, or whatever. Like, Josh has done probably 100 rallies on an R5 car.
Yeah.
This will be my 7th, in an R5 car. So you can say to yourself, I'm going to give it a go, but you're not going to make up that time in that space and over the rallies. So I'm just going to give it a go and try not to do anything stupid and get to the finish, Yeah.
And what about, obviously, like, there are guys like Josh or whatever, that are up at sort of 1, 2, 3, and he's obviously coming off an unbelievable year last year, in the last couple of years or whatever. But is there any 1 or 2 people that kind of you can keep a specific eye on that your times would be close to, or is it like in your mind you're always going for number 1?
There's a part of me that always thinks, like, I think a lot of drivers probably won't say this, or they'd be embarrassed to say it, but the reason why I rally is I think I'm the fastest, so that's why I want to go there and I want to win. If I didn't think I was fastest, or I wouldn't bother to stay at home. So it's just always been my mentality is to try and win or try and be the fastest. But you have to be realistic too. Like, you know, it's, you know, horses are horses. If the tables are turned, then, you know, like with experience and stuff. But I think for me, if I got inside the top 5 at that rally, it'd be a great result, you know.
Excellent, yeah.
Yeah.
And what are your plans for the broader picture of 2023?
I don't really have a whole lot of plans. I was hoping to do the first round of national and just see how it goes, you know. And then I got on so well in France, I'm not going, oh geez, I wouldn't mind go back and doing a few more there. So
yeah,
there's a couple of guys there that have asked me back, and would I go and do a couple of the national rounds in France as well, and you know, to do some sort of deal with the team and stuff like that. So there's a couple of things, but yeah, there's nothing set in stone at the moment.
Yeah. Do you find that hard to pick then, Daniel, particularly when you enjoy both places so much?
Yeah, as I said, there's pros and cons. You know, there's absolutely great. You know, you're you know, an hour away from home. You know, you have friends and family that can go and watch you, and the rally's over and said and done. You can go home. You're in your bed that night. There's a lot to be said for it.
Yeah.
You know, but there's just something that gives me a buzz about going to a strange place and setting up and, you know, doing the rally, and just an adventure. Like, as I said, my whole family comes with me, so it's kind of we make a bit of a holiday of it as well.
Exactly, yeah. And I mean, you know, it's one of those things where you've had an awful lot of success in Ireland already, and does it sort of feel like, do you know what, I've seen a fair bit here and it's amazing and I'll always come back, but there's just, as you say, it's that adventure piece of the not knowing whenever you go overseas, like. Absolutely, yeah, definitely. I've probably done every single rally in Ireland bar maybe one or two, and I love rallying at home. I love it, but that it's always calling me that, you know, go and do something different, go somewhere new, go, you know. And I would study a lot of rallies around Europe and places like Belgium, France, you know, Spain, Portugal, and I would know all the top guys in the area, and so something I'm into. So when I go there, I go, I'll have a go with your man there. Your man could be quick, or you know, and I know certain stages I would have watched on YouTube over and over. Yeah. You know, and I'd say, I'll make a bit of a push in that stage, and I love doing something different and new, you know. Yeah, well, I have to say, like, I mean, it's one of those things. It's actually something that I never got around to doing. And they you know, the European rounds just look so different to anything in Ireland. Like, but it's definitely, they look incredibly fast and like, obviously exciting because of that. Like, yeah. Well, look, that rally at the weekend, the Côte d'Fleur, it was so fast. Like, we had to use the long gearbox ratio in the car. Which I've used a good few times, but we've never been on the limit. We were on the limiter maybe 3 or 4 times in each stage, which is like you're well over 120 mile an hour there, you know. Wow. Which you would rarely get to do here or any other, you know. But it was very, very fast, and you're like, if you make the smallest mistake, like you spin out of junction or something, they could take 10-15 seconds out of you. It's so tight, like like we got to the end of the long stage was 19 kilometers, and we had good cut in there, like. I maybe made one small mistake at a junction, and they took, like, the next guy to me took 9 seconds out. I was like, "Geez, where do you do that?" Like, you know, but where do you lose it? Where do they build it? Yeah. And then you just have to kind of sit down and reset and go, try not to make mistakes and try and get it back on the next one. Reset again. Yeah, it's fascinating now. It is, like, I mean, Irish rallying has my heart, like, and it's just such an incredible place to get to rally. But it is funny too at the same time. Like, there's a lot out there that you haven't seen yet, and it is exciting to go and explore and have those adventures. Like, yeah, definitely. I think sometimes it probably comes across a bit strange that I'm going, you know, there's a rally down the road from me and I'm going off to France, but you're getting the boat. Yeah, when it's only down the road. But it's just, I just enjoy it, and I enjoy the challenge. I've always enjoyed the challenge. I've done some ERC rounds in the Evo days, like 10 years ago and stuff, and that gave me the bug, and it's never really left me. Yeah, well, it's one of those things, isn't it? It's something different. Like, I mean, as you said yourself a minute ago, just different courses for different horses. Like, that's the way it is. Like, and it's all, at the end of the day, I think it's all time in the car, isn't it? Yeah, that's the main one. Yeah, and I think this, as I said, like, this will be the first time I've done a test before the last rally, done the rally, and now I'm into the Midlands. So
think that's going to stand a lot to me, because that's been a long time since that's happened.
Exactly. Yeah. And I mean, as you were saying, like, you know, you're used to the higher ratio gearbox, like, over the last couple of days and stuff. So it's, you know, the pace is going to be there and stuff. So you're literally hitting the ground running, ready to rock for the weekend.
Well, fingers crossed, yeah.
Fingers crossed is right.
Yeah.
Well, come here, Daniel. Thanks a million for taking time out of the schedule. I'm sure it's incredibly busy this week. We're delighted to have you on, and looking forward to seeing how you go at the weekend.
Thank you very much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Daniel McKenna, welcome to the Irish Rally podcast. Thank you so much for being with us.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
You've got a very busy week, and we are actually genuinely delighted that you've taken the 10 or 15 minutes out to chat with us here, because you're very, very busy this evening.
Yeah, as usual, crack. I've all the best intentions in the world to get the car ready. The car should have been ready probably a week or two after Clarny Historics from December, but here we are now, 2 or 3 days out, and only getting a proper look over the car and fighting wee problems. So yeah, no, nothing major, but I think we were just talking. It just seems to be the way it always is. Just always the last minute.
Yeah, so we're mentioning that adrenaline. It's just we're trying to get the systems ready to take the adrenaline before the weekend comes, and we just land ourselves into these last minute panics. Yeah.
I'd rather if it was better organised, and but unfortunately, my best efforts never seem to work out. But I look at that. Just seems to be the way of it. You know, it's probably a good way of getting into rally mode for the week leading into the weekend. You know that you're. You know, if everything's sitting ready, you maybe be a wee bit too laxy-daisy, and then
that's it,
you're maybe not on the ball come Saturday morning for the recce or whatever. So
yeah,
don't know.
Exactly, and that's the thing with it as well. Like, I mean, I think obviously there's been a few events already this year, but this is your first event of the year, and it's that wee bit of excitement to get yourself ready for the event at the weekend, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. Like, we're really looking forward to it, to be honest. Yeah, we haven't done. I think it'll be 3 months like since we were out, and I literally haven't sat in the car. I was hoping maybe to get the car out for a bit of a shakedown today, but as I said, we ran into a few wee gremlins. And then my work schedule the way it is now, it's just going to be running straight into the rally. So usually we like to be a bit better prepared, but yeah, myself and Andrew now. Although Andrew was actually out the last 2 weekends with Vivian Hamble and Clarny Forestry and Fivemiletown, so he'll be on the ball, no doubt. He always is anyways, but yeah, hopefully I won't be too far behind him, but yeah, some of the guys maybe coming from Galway or some of the forestries, they'll probably be right on the pace from the get-go, but yeah, see what happens, see how it goes.
That's it now, and to be fair, Daniel, you're never too far behind. It's an incredible entry, like, but you are well up there in terms of pace, like.
Yeah, well, that's it. And the end of this came out there, whatever day it was last week. I was doing a bit of head scratching myself. People are asking me, "See, you're on a first 2-wheel drive?" And I was like, "Yeah, I see that myself." So, yeah, I suppose look, we've only started getting up to speed. Like, just to cut a long story short, like we've come back after a long layoff, just at the end of the lockdown there, 2021, built the car from scratch again, but put a lot of new gizmos on the car, like so a lot of stuff was like prototype and development stuff, and so going from like the Olin's dampers from Philip Case and Raymond Moore had supplied us with a new 3MO gearbox. It's never been tried before, with an electric paddle shift, and new R5 Fiesta, the R5 Fiesta brakes, AP brakes at the front.
Yes.
And then we're using a lot of AIM technology, electronics and stuff. So we're doing a bit of development work with them along with Kieran Rush and Rush Automotive. So yeah, I suppose the idea was that we were going to concentrate a lot of rally in the first half of last year, so that we'd be in a good shot for Donegal. And things took a major dip in the plan when we hit the car in Galway. I think I got a wee bit overexcited when we were in the need of the national battling with Gary Kiernan and just got caught out in the treacherous Galway, as it always is. But
it can happen.
But yeah, anyways, we got back on the horse and got ourselves into a good position and for Donegal. But yeah, unfortunately, I just made a mistake on Knockalla and put the car into a bit of a drain. We're in contention, I think, with the 2-wheel drive guys. You know, just getting the 2 Darians. So yeah, it was pretty frustrating. And then In the meantime, then himself and Andrew had our first babies each in the team between Donegal and Killarney. But what we had learned was we were developing the new dampers, and we sort of went a slightly different direction than we basically went up the wrong route. We thought we were going the right way. Everything was sort of tested and verified before Donegal, but in hindsight now, we made a mistake. We went the wrong direction with the dampers and the spring rates and stuff. So the car wasn't doing exactly what I wanted, which I don't know if you've seen the video of me going down the road. I think the first day Saturday morning, I lost the car early on, and what's that stage called? Cairn Hill or somewhere. So there's a few elements there working against me. Plus, I was a bit frustrated myself with some of my performances from Friday. I was trying to make up for a bit of lack of pace, but caught me out. I got out quite badly, but lucky to get away with it. But anyways,
it's a long weekend.
Yeah, well, it would end up only a couple of stages later. We sort of ended the rally prematurely for ourselves. We continued on, but then we ended up having other issues based from the off, and one thing led to another. Just the car actually ended up stopping on us then on the Sunday morning with a mechanical problem. So we just unfortunately we were wanting to get around for the 50th anniversary, but it just didn't happen.
No.
But anyways, so a lot of work was done with the car there in between Donegal and Killarney. And then in Killarney, like I suppose roughly around 12 months from when we built the car, we had all the dampers and everything aligned, everything the way we wanted it. We were working with Philip Case and Olan's and stuff, and changed the gearing of the car slightly, a few things. And yeah, we went to Killarney Starks and everything clicked really well, despite the lack of knowledge of the stages, and we were managed to come out of there runners up, first losers as they call it.
You're off ignoring yourself at the second round there. No, he's not a bad choice.
No, and like in behind Kevin Eves there, and we're battling away with Desi Keenan and Conor Murphy, in fairness to him, was well ahead. He was on the same, him and Kevin were battling away for a couple of stages, but I was happy enough to be, trying to battle it out with Desi and John O'Dugan. Desi's like 3 or 4 times winner of the event and won the event maybe overall or second overall back in the day. So a lot of knowledge he has down there. Maybe I would say he's probably done the rally maybe 15 to 20 times. So the stages don't change, so the knowledge is quite good. So I was happy to be battling with Desi and the guys, and Desi's no slouch, as everyone knows. So, but yeah, we're pretty pleased with that.
And tell me, Daniel, do you you mentioned sort of changing an awful lot of stuff on the car after you've rebuilt it, and kind of trying to develop different bits and pieces with different companies and stuff. Do you find it frustrating whenever, like, obviously when you're changing so much in the car and developing, things are going to go wrong essentially because you have to go kind of past the mark before you can kind of find the middle ground. Do you find that very frustrating, or do you sort of have the bigger picture in the back of your mind where you can keep focused on, look, this is the long game. This is not about getting it sorted and perfect today? It's, I suppose, to answer your question, it's a bit of both. Like, I was lucky enough that some of these guys are willing to work with me. We knew it was going to be developmental, and the idea is to try and get a better product, on the shelf for some of the competitors that are out there. Essentially, if ever in a perfect world, you do everything out theoretically on paper, and you're hoping it's not far off the mark. Yeah. Some things worked really well, some things didn't work so well, but you're hoping that you can just be bang out the pace. But yeah, as I say, it's hard to be patient, when you know that you're capable of going faster maybe sometimes, or in certain conditions or whatever, the car's not doing exactly what you want. But that's what I signed up for, like an engineer in the background. So that's, we enjoy that side of it, working along with Bobby Sharkey. And Bobby's a bit of a genius when it comes to car setup and stuff like that. So, I enjoy working on the car. Like, that's like, as a lot of people would say, biggest part of the time that goes into it, the event, is preparation, and you need a lot of determination to get the cars to the events. But I enjoy that side of it, and I always like a challenge. Like a lot of guys are building modified cars now, and a lot of them are very much the same. So I always like to try and do something a wee bit different. Aye.
But yeah, I think now, to be honest with you, although I haven't really got too much time for testing for this event, I think we're basically just going with what we finished up with in Killarney. I think the car is a lot more to me liking now. I think we can get in and have confidence right away rather than having to build on it, which is what I want now. So it's, I say we're sort of patient. The impatience got the better of me in Galway, unfortunately, that time, as I mentioned. But other than that, we took a step back and we built it up nicely, and we finally got the car under us that we wanted in Killarney. So,
And
yeah,
basically, like, you've got the hard work over, you know, and you sort of can hit the ground running for 23.
yeah, I think so. I hope so. As I said, I'd like to be better prepared, but the two of us do new babies in the house and a lot of work commitments and everything else. So, but yeah, to be honest with you, always like the Midlands events. We had good success down there. Well, it's back maybe 9 or 10 years ago now. So I've won the event overall twice. I think it was in 11 and 12, and we were second overall in 2014. So that might explain maybe why the guys are seeding us the way they have. Although that was maybe based more in the Roscommon area. It's Longford this weekend, but generally the territory in that area is quite similar. And we would have done a lot of the events down there before, like be it navigations or be it night navigations or be it autocross events and stuff. So I know the club quite well. I know it's a neighbouring club, Monaghan and Cavan. We share a lot of marshal work and stuff. So yeah, we would have supported the club quite a lot over the years and done most of the events. So I think I'd have good enough knowledge, you know, of the type of layout of the stages. But we'll see them on Saturday morning. They're usually quite fast, quite gutsy.
Yes, so you'll be ready to go. Like, it's one of those things where it is absolutely sounds like it's not an event for the faint of heart. Very fast stuff ahead of you.
Yeah. I haven't seen any DVDs or anything. We just generally make the notes when we arrive. We write our own notes and record. But I was talking to a few guys recently that seen the in-car or the DVDs from the recce's from the note suppliers. They're saying it's quite fast, but I think it's quite hard to judge that off the DVD. But I was speaking to one guy that they actually done the recce at the weekend, and he confirmed that it is very fast. But yeah, I don't mind. Look, it's the same for everybody, so just get stuck in. As I say, I could be a wee bit slow off the mark, but I'd say what we're actually hoping to do is, if everything goes to plan, we have the entry in for West Cork 2 weeks later. So we're actually we're using the event as a bit of a warm-up to try and be more competitive for West Cork. We went down to West Cork last year for the first time, and it was a fantastic event. So looking forward to trying to get down to it as long as there's no mishaps this weekend.
Yes. And that's what my next question was going to be, what the plan is for 23. Like, is it a mixture of stuff, or are you sort of pacing yourself and seeing what comes together?
Sort of one event at a time. Last year we signed on for the Modified Tarmac Championship, which is just got its difficulties, like, because you sort of make that commitment to try and go to the events and stuff. But we are always, before we ever done championship ring, we'd always just sort of pick whatever events suited everybody, not just me. Had to suit Andrew, my father, the whole team, and the guys, you know, and that the car was ready and we had the finances and stuff. And we're back to that sort of way of working again. We found like maybe we were being forced to keep up with the championship, you know, and maybe then you weren't preparing as well for the events as you should. So yeah, we just had, so far what we're planning is to do this event because we always really enjoyed it in the past, and West Cork and Killarney, and then we'll just take it from there. But as I say, well, it doesn't take much. Like, when you're, you know, main thing is we want to go out and enjoy it. Like, when we and Andrew find when we enjoy the event, the pace is never too far away. It's usually whenever I'm maybe having issues with the car or stressed out about other stuff that I usually don't perform very well and we don't enjoy it. So that's the number one goal: go and enjoy it, and I think the rest will fall into place. And we'll just take it one event at a time. But that's all we've planned so far is Midlands and West Cork. But at the pace that we plan to go at, I don't think there's probably too much point in planning too far ahead, to be perfectly honest.
Good man. That's the way to do it too, at the same time. And I mean, obviously last year, you know, you had a big plan in place, but like, as you say, you have a 7-month-old now. And I mean, that obviously makes it quite difficult as well to kind of forward plan and get out of the house. And I mean, you mentioned enjoying the events, and that's whenever you two really go hell for leather. Like, and it just is, it's a case of trying to piece all the different puzzle pieces together, as you were saying, like, that whenever it suits everybody that's involved in the team, there's less stress, and it's just brilliant for everybody, and you can really get your head in the game.
Yeah, that's it. Like, we didn't know what Killarney was a bit of an experiment for us last December. We didn't know how it was going to go for like first-time fathers and being an event. But to be honest with you, we realised that, again, it was like 5 months before we'd done an event, since we'd done an event before, and we both agreed that we actually really enjoy it, because we're realizing now it's probably going to be even more difficult now to get away for a weekend, you know, for everything to fall into place, like with business and work commitments and family commitments and everything else. So it just means when you do get away to the event, it would be an absolute tragedy if you didn't enjoy it, you know, and you didn't try and do as much as you could. So yeah, we really enjoy Killarney, and that's the approach we're going to go with anymore. I think just go and enjoy the event, and as I said, if we're happy and everything, generally things fall into place quite easily after that, you know.
And I mean, it's funny enough that you mentioned that, because I was actually just chatting to somebody earlier on today, and we were saying that it's not that we're particularly old, but we're, you know, like, we're of the age that you've been rallying long enough now at this point, and you kind of, when you were younger, it was, it's not that you didn't enjoy it, but there was a wee bit more pressure on you. But whenever you get to this point in life, you kind of understand what is important, whether it be work, family, you know, house, all these sorts of things. Like, and truly, like, enjoyment and having the crack during that weekend is genuinely what it all seems to be about now.
Yeah, definitely. I think I spoke about it before. Back when we sort of tried to take things quite seriously, a lot of the enjoyment went out of it, to be honest with you. So, you know, when we were back, we were certainly back at the beginning. We were clubmen, out for a bit of crack, out for the fun, you know, and putting the cars together ourselves. And then for a number of years, then it got really serious, where there's quite a lot of pressure, quite a lot of expectation, and you're trying to, you know, impress people for future stuff, and the pressure sometimes as I said, took the total enjoyment out of it. So now we're suddenly done like a full circle, where we've sort of gone back to being just clubmen again and doing a lot of the work ourselves. And but yeah, it's as I said, we're very, very lucky and very privileged to be able to go rallying. So the last thing you want to be doing is crying and stressing out about it. So
exactly,
we want to be able to try and enjoy it. Yeah, because we'll not be able to do it forever. So we're going to try and enjoy it when we have the opportunity to do it, you know.
Oh, you're very, very right now. And I can tell you there'll be a lot of people out at the weekend, like, ready to watch you enjoying it, because as you say, like, whenever you're enjoying it, that's when you go well. And like, honest to God, I mean, anybody that's looked at that entry is just so excited to see what the event brings, because it's just a stellar lineup. Like, and you know, you don't know what's going to happen. So for sure, we are wishing you all the best luck, and we can't wait to see how the weekend unfolds for you.
Thanks very much, Tony. Yeah, as you said, it's a fantastic entry. So no matter what, I'd say no matter what class or who you're following, it's going to be good. It's going to be good.
It's going to be good, is right. Well, come here. Thanks a million for taking the time. We know how hectic your schedule is this week, so we very much appreciate it, Daniel, and best of luck at the weekend.
No worries.
Yep, fabulous insight. Well done, Tony Kelly. Well done, Daniel McKenna, Daniel Barry, and Stephen O'Hannon. So that's where we leave it on this edition of the Irish Rally Podcast. Make sure you hit the subscribe button on YouTube, or hit the follow button on Spotify or Apple. If you're liking what we're doing, tap that 5-star rating. And we also have a Buy Me a Coffee link if you do appreciate the efforts that we are putting in. As you said, I think this will probably be maybe content piece number 10, and just shy of a month coming in. So we're turning out the content. The title partner and associate partner opportunities are still there as well. Get in touch. We'll talk tactics on that front. And all we can say is the very best luck to everyone this weekend in the first round of the Triton Showers National Championship. And we'll speak to you all again very, very soon. Take care. This is the Irish Rally Podcast, brought to you in association with Tech and Tools, your dedicated tools provider focusing on diagnostic test equipment and specialised tools. Visit techandtools.ie for more information, and SVS Productions.